When historians sift through the debris of modern society, it'll be hard to miss 50 million Sony Walkmans. On its 10th birthday, a monument was unveiled to celebrate its success in transforming the listening habits of people around the world. One brilliant idea has spawned a further 150 million imitation personal stereos. But it is the Sony Walkman which has become a design classic.
I'm often asked whether this is a Japanese or a Western product, and it's a measure of Sony's achievement in getting machines like this around the globe, creating a new type of object that, and I take no pleasure from saying this, I'm just acknowledging reality, is that nowadays anything as beautifully detailed, as small and as well made as this could come from nowhere other than Japan. They have the production process so completely organized and so slick. They didn't, there's this myth that the Japanese copied. They didn't copy. For 30 years after the last war, they invested all the money they had available for industry into production technology. And that's why creativity in Japan actually comes out of the factory floor. They can make anything. They can make any number of Walkmans now. And so the roots of the creativity really are not only in traditional culture, but in the means of production.
There's nothing particularly remarkable about the idea of a tape player that doesn't record. But the secret behind the success of the Walkman has roots deep in the Japanese psyche, with a history stretching back over 1,000 years.
都会というのはまあね、賑やかで自分に一人になりたいということもありますし、自分の空間をいかなる状況でも作りたいというのは、やはり人間のそういう思いだと思うんですよね。で、昔からね、そういう禅宗などというのはやはり座禅を組んだりね、じっとして自分の世界を作るとかね、こうやったわけですけど、そこが今日の良さでいろいろな、イノベーションがここにありますね。これをこう見つけて。で、ここにこれをこう刺してでこう入れて歩けば、ね、自分の世界になれるというこの知恵っていうのは大変な知恵だと思うんです。でちょうどここの床の間がありますけどね、これもねやはりここへ座ってそしてこのいい昔の人のメッセージ格言をずっと見つめてると自分の世界ができるってもよろしいんですけど、それの禅はもう特別なお坊様みたいなだけの方だけのように見えますけど、実はそういう禅の心というのは、意外とそのウォークマンみたいな世界で自らの世界を自ら作ると、いかなるところにあっても自らの世界ができるんだと、非常に底辺でつながってるんじゃないかなというふうに僕は感じるんです。
The man behind the Walkman is Akio Morita, the 15th generation heir of a sake brewing business, now chairman of Columbia Pictures, CBS Records, and the Sony Economic Miracle, and in Tokyo he's known as the samurai of the Transistor. Through his revolutionary understanding of consumer psychology and product design, Morita and Sony have almost single-handedly transformed the jumble sale image of Japanese electronics into one of prestige and mystique. It was under the American occupation of post-war Japan that the infant Sony company first began. With a loan of $200 from his father, Morita's dream was to use the breakthroughs made in military communications equipment as the basis for a new business.
In August 1945, I was working as an engineering officer in the Naval Laboratory, and I got the news. In Hiroshima, atomic bomb exploded. As a scientist, I thought it took 20 years. And really atomic bomb exploded. That means how much difference technology we had between our country and United States. So even our company was small, we put all our effort to create something new, something different from others. That's the origin of our company, our business. I started the business with Mr. Ibuka, who is also an electronic engineer. So when we are working on development of tape recorder, we had a big dream. When we complete tape recorder, we could make a fortune.
Morita came across an extraordinary document published by the Civil Information and Educational Service of the US Occupation Forces called 999 Uses for a Tape Recorder. It's inspiring because it was, to a large extent, the stimulus for the whole creation of the Sony story. Reading it is quite a revelation. I mean, here are some of the things you can actually do with a tape recorder. Traveling salesmen can use it for recorded reports, correspondence, interviews, and credit references. But my favourite of all is what you can do in the pet shop with a tape recorder. Attention getting storefront sounds, including lion's roar, generic animal noise, monkey chatter, and talking parrots.
Tape recorder, for us, great innovation, but for the other people, it looks like a toy. So without educating our customer how much value our product has, we cannot sell our product. We move around in the country, visiting school, the village, and demonstrate our machine and teaching people how useful this tape recorder is.
In the race to develop new and exciting products, miniaturization became a fundamental part of Sony corporate policy. But this required the latest technology, and the turning point in the company's history came when they heard about an American invention, the transistor.
It was on the trip to America when Morita and Ibuka discovered Western Electric's transistor patents, and it's interesting that the Americans who actually patented the transistor, so one of them went on record as saying there are no commercial applications for this device. It can only be used in research or in medical circumstances. So Ibuka had the sense to see, transistor, we can do something with this. And Morita knew exactly what you could do with this. You could once again make a product no one felt they ever needed. In this case, the portable radio, the TR-55.
Right from the start, Sony's been one of the most progressive companies in Japan in the sense that they've integrated from the beginning their technology, their thinking, and their design. They haven't applied design to the surface as perhaps some of the other companies did in the early years. The little transistor radios they manufactured in the 50s, again, were about portability, about being able to, a teenager, for example, taking their little radio upstairs and listening to pop music in the privacy of their bedroom. That couldn't be done with the great heavy pieces of furniture that radio used to be. So that kind of stepping forward into a new behaviour is conceptual, and then the product follows.
We created small radio, we named that a pocketable radio. And we try to show that radio fit Shard's pocket. But we try to make as small as possible, but I found that radio is a little bit bigger than the standard shirt. So we ordered special shirts which has a little bigger pocket, and we gave this shirt to all the salesmen, and the salesman put our radio in the shirt's pocket and show that the customer, see, this is a pocket of radio.
Pocket radios were an instant hit, and young people didn't seem to care that the earplugs looked like deaf aids. But during the 70s, a new fashion began with street music and the ghetto blaster.